Welcome, everyone, to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm excited to be your host and actually discuss with you how to have and own a successful accounting, bookkeeping, and tax business. I'm Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center, and for more than 20 years, I've been working and helping thousands of accounting professionals get the training and support that they need to excel in their accounting careers. I help them follow a turnkey system to start and build the premier accounting services in their area. Now, Universal Accounting Center, we've been around since 1979, offering accounting professionals quality training, certification programs, coaching, and support to help them get their careers where they wanted to be, as well as help them start and build successful accounting businesses. Our programs focus on marketing, sales, accounting services, practice management to help their firms work efficiently and profitably. Today's podcast, we're actually helping accounting professionals confidently and competently offer quality accounting services to get paid what they're worth. I encourage you to listen to and enjoy the episodes that we have, and specifically subscribe to this podcast for future announcements. Now, with that in mind, today we have Ron Saharyan. He's with Profit First Professionals, and I know that we refer to you as Obi-Ron, so welcome.
Thank you for having me, Roger. Pleasure.
This is awesome. I've known Ron for years, and so this is going to be a wonderful experience. He's the co-founder and managing director of Profit First Professionals. Under the tutelage of the Jedi Master, Ron was trained in all the ways of the Force and puts his skills to the test against the dark sides of entrepreneurialism. How's that sound?
Awesome. Absolutely. You know, we've got to fight that dark side, and we're using the power of the Force, which is profit.
Well, you're doing a good job of it, because when I'm around you, you're a force for good. So I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Profit First, just to be aware, Profit First Professionals is an exclusive community for accounting, bookkeeping, and business coaches who are certified in the Profit First methodology to help their clients build highly profitable businesses. In fact, the mantra I love is helping eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. So I love that mission, and it's a wonderful objective.
Thank you. It's something Mike and I and all our members are very passionate about. I mean, if we can help entrepreneurs pay themselves first, if not a little bit more, reserve a war chest of cash for Uncle Sam, regardless of their liabilities, and have a focus on profit, even if that profit is 3.5%, the business owner can pay down their debt. They can celebrate the health of the company, or they can hire. And that's what business owners want.
That's exactly right. I think it's that elusive thing of profit that they're all trying to get, but too often avoid. And so that's what the objective of today's podcast is to help accounting professionals understand how they can more effectively offer their clients that service, that ability to make profit a priority, and basically capture that all elusive profit that sometimes business owners find very elusive. So what we're going to do here today is we have basically three sponsors. I'd like to just mention them. The first being Universal Accounting Center. Universal Accounting is proud to sponsor this podcast with the intent of helping accounting professionals get the tools and the resources they need to succeed in the offering of accounting services to their clientele. The second sponsor is Color Accounting. Color Accounting is a phenomenal resource for accounting professionals to more effectively communicate the information they're providing to their clients in a way that their clients can use accounting information confidently. And Profit First, obviously eradicating entrepreneurial poverty and helping accounting professionals focus on what matters most to the business owner, and that's the profit of their company. So let's begin with some questions here, Ron.
Sure.
I've got a real simple one here, and it's basically, I'd like you to share with me a little bit of your company and what it is that Profit First really is, what it does.
Yeah, sure. So thank you, Roger. Profit First Professionals is the organization that Mike McAllowitz, my business partner, and I co-founded to support the teachings in Mike's book, Profit First. The teachings are a cash flow management system. It's not accounting. It's not bookkeeping. Some people even would say it's a little hokey, and that's okay. This is a system, a pay yourself first methodology that will ensure that the business owner has the priorities of paying themselves first, because if not, eventually they're not going to enjoy their company that they started.
So why do you feel an accounting firm would embrace Profit First? How would this actually benefit them as well as their clients?
The accountant and bookkeeper are actually in the best position to help consult a business owner on the profitability of their business. They're in tune with the ebbs and flows of the cash flow. They're understanding the market conditions. They're collaborating. And during that role, excuse me, let me back up a little bit. Right now, there's a big revolution going on. And a lot of accounting firms are about an algorithm away from being compliant obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a big movement on how to be consultative. So what we do is we teach how to be a profit consultant. The byproduct is that, number one, it helps all of our members have to adopt the methodology. It's a rock solid cash flow methodology. They love it. It makes them more stable with their cash flow. Two, okay, they're able to offer a service, a premium service to their end users on how to literally pay themselves first. Next is we help them stand out in a crowd. You have a guy like Mike Michalowicz that's a phenomenal author and keynote speaker going all around the globe, driving businesses, entrepreneurs to seek out certified profit first professionals. So why accounting firms reach out to us and look to be members? One, we help them increase their profitability of their own business. Two, we teach them how to implement profit first in all of their customers' businesses. Three, we help them stand out in the crowd.
So here's a thing that I'm very curious to know, and I'd like you to kind of dig with me into this. And it's, what's the common misunderstanding then that people have of profit first? What's the hiccup that maybe kind of gets in their way of actually implementing these principles?
Right, sure. So what we've modeled is basically grandmother's envelope budgeting methodology for businesses. Mm-hmm. And we've taken it to the 21st century. Instead of envelopes or buckets, we use bank accounts. Right there alone is a hiccup for a lot of CPAs. What do you mean you're going to have multiple bank accounts? You're going to have 5 bank accounts? That's ridiculous. You know what? You're going to spend so much time reconciling these accounts. You're going to have lots of money as balances in these accounts, and there's no way you're going to be able to afford transferring the money back and forth. All of that is wrong. Profit first, we're only utilizing one account to pay bills out of and receive income, and everything else is just a holding account and a pass-through account. And there's a lot of banks out there that have minimum deposits of $5 or even free, and they have unlimited transfers within the bank.
So realizing that there are some struggles or hiccups that kind of hang up people in implementing this, what's some great advice that you would have for an individual to really embrace profit first and apply it in their own business?
Don't judge a book by its cover. Right. It's actually not all about profit. The overarching theme, okay, that we've all been taught out there is sales minus profit. Oh, sorry, sales minus expenses equal profit. Okay. We sell, occur expense. Whatever's left over is profit. Well, that's the leftover. That's the crumbs. What we're saying is sales minus profit equal expenses. But within that pay, there's your pay, there's tax, and there's a profit. So it's not all about profit. It's about really designing the cash flow in a way that's going to suit the business owner's needs. And so a lot of people have a misconception that this is just about generating profit. No, it's not. That's a byproduct of it. It's about a fiscal, stable company. And it's not profit that is bad. People are bad. And if some people are bad, right? People with a lot of money, they might do bad things. It's not the money that's bad. It's the dirtbags who are using it in a bad way. Because with profit, you can pay down your debt. With profit, you can hire. With profit, you can sponsor the next Little League team. You can be more philanthropic. You can anchor the company in a community to continue to pay great jobs. Without profit, this stuff can't happen.
So one of the things that I think is always elusive is people will say that they're running businesses, and as accounting firms, you're interacting with clients all the time that are trying to be profitable. They're for-profit businesses. They're definitely not a non-profit entity, and yet they don't do some of these very important principles, applying them in their business to be profitable. I mean, that's the end all for most of these businesses. At the end of the day, if you're not being profitable, any goals, aspirations, quality of services you're trying to provide, you're going to go away as a company and not be able to do then what you intended to offer. So I love what Profit First is. I love how it makes profit deliberate, intentional. It makes it something that the business owner can intentionally work towards. So help me understand a few things. I want to go backwards now and really kind of introduce us to what brought you to Profit First. Tell me a little bit of a story as how you got started into this. I know a little bit of the background as to you knowing Mike. So why don't you share a little bit of that?
Sure. And also a disclaimer, I'm not an accountant or a bookkeeper. I'm a sales guy. I'm an operation guy. I look at myself not necessarily as an entrepreneur, but as a business owner, first and foremost. Okay.
Well, and I'm going to add to that, Ron. I think you're an advocate. You're the ambassador for this. So that somebody needs to champion this mantra. And I think you're doing a phenomenal job of getting that message out there. So to be a traditional accountant bookkeeper, maybe that would detract from your focus, because you're definitely that one with the bullhorn, really kind of touting this message. And I think you're doing a great job of it.
Right. Thank you. And so how it all started, started a long time ago, actually. Mike and I grew up in the same town. We went to the same grade school, same high school. He's a grade or two older than I am. And we became friends. And over the years, Mike is a serial entrepreneur, and he started companies. And he would try to recruit me to join them for one reason or another. And unfortunately, it wasn't the right opportunity. Well, in 2013, I had taken a boutique staffing firm to its all-time high in revenue, consultants on the street and margin. Then I was told we were done scaling. Done scaling? You mean I'm schlepping into Manhattan every single day only to be done scaling? No way. So I sent out my little feelers, and Mike responded. He's like, "Hey, man, you're not going to believe what's going on." I said, "What?" He's like, "I want you to read my manuscript. It's called Profit First." I said, "Okay, no problem." So I read it. I said, "This is great. This is unbelievable." And I actually apply some of these principles in the companies that I've been running. He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, this stuff it's pay yourself first." It's like, wow, I want to start a company to support the teachings in this book. Over a bottle of wine and discussing with our wives, here we are 6 years later, and it's been awesome.
I love it. I was hoping you were going to say at some point in high school you had the same girlfriend or something, but that didn't get as juicy as I expected.
No, not at all. Because I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart, and that would have been really, really uncomfortable.
That would have. Well,
Mike had dated
but it
her.
didn't even involve a little brawl on the school playground. So that's all right.
Actually, there is a lot of competition between Mike and I. We both played on the same lacrosse team. We both think we're studs. And every year for the alumni game, him and I have a face-off to just see who's toughest. And I've been winning.
If I remember correctly, you play a pretty mean air guitar.
No, Mike. Oh, well, Mike plays a meaner air guitar. I'll give him that.
Okay. So now you shared, obviously, the impetus of starting the business, how you got to where you were. Tell me about being an owner of a company. What were some of the struggles that you faced that you more or less didn't expect, but you had to learn from?
One is coming out of corporate, I had to be reprogrammed. It's a different world, owning a business and then working for a corporation. So that's one. But one of the things that I didn't have to experience that I think is very powerful is that we adopted the Profit First methodology day one. We set up the framework, we set up the percentages, and as soon as we got our first deposit, we made those allocations. So I look back now, and yeah, my first paycheck was a couple of nickels, the profit distribution, a couple more nickels. But I saw that there was a plan. There was a way that I was going to be paying myself, that we had a vehicle, a mechanism that would ensure that I had money for Uncle Sam. And of course, that there was going to be a little bit of a profit. So over the last couple of years, it's been a wonderful relief knowing that I am paying myself, not having to worry about taxes, and to focus on profit where we can really do some good. That is the power. Most entrepreneurs, business owners struggle from day one to have this comfort level. I'm saying break the doctrine of sacrifice. You can be profitable from day one. You can pay yourself from day one. You can do it. Okay. But you have to start out this way. So anybody that says, no, Ron, I'm going to be plowing the money back in there. I'm going to be sleeping on my cousin's couches. I'm not going to make money for 3 years. That's no way to live a life. It really isn't. And just by being open to the world no longer being flat, that even though we were taught a way to do things, doesn't mean it's the right way to do things now that we have clarity. And that's what Profit First did for us. It's a system. It's a cash flow system. Most businesses don't have a system. They're trying to understand their cash flow, the ebbs and flows of it. And quite honestly, Roger, it really is a relief not having to worry about how I'm going to make payroll, how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that I'm hearing from you is whether you're an accounting business and you're the owner of it and you're trying to, as an owner, run it, you're dealing with the entrepreneurial struggles that you're describing. But at the same time, because of the accounting role that we have with our clients, we're working with business owners of many different entities, and all of them are experiencing what you've described. The accountant that's listening to this podcast is experiencing what you're describing simply because they're also the owner of the firm. So everybody can personally see what you're talking about. So I'm going to ask, what advice would you give to yourself if you were to go back 6 years ago and have a chance to whisper in Ron's ear? What advice would you give Ron, having learned over these last 6 years the lessons that you have?
What would I tell my former self? One is to be open to new ideas, be open to a different way of doing things. Number one. Two, it doesn't have to be complex or difficult to be impactful.
Yeah.
Right. And so, looking back, I did put a lot of stress on myself, of course, and it was unnecessary, but I can say that now. But everybody starting a business, they're taking a chance, they're providing a service, they're doing good. And just to really set the company up in a way to hire, to grow, and not necessarily a plan, but knowing that you're going to be hiring somebody in the future. Make sure that the cash flow is going to be able to do that. Make sure that if you're going to add another line of business, that you have the cash flow that's able to do that. And being able to replicate a service offering, and you're going to need the core capital available to do that. So really understanding your cash flow and utilizing your asset, the company, as your number one asset to generate wealth and generate salaries and everything for somebody else. Let's design it in a way that looks down the playing field a lot further.
So if I were to add to that, if I were to sit back and talk to myself and go back years ago, 5 years ago, I became president of Universal Accounting Center, the third president. And the advice I would give myself would be, it's worth it. It's honestly worth it. The trials, the tribulations, the struggles that I was going to face, all that stress, I can honestly say, you know what, it'll be okay and it'll be worth it. Just be patient. And sometimes I remember being impatient. Why am I going through this? The drama that other people bring into the situation, it's going to still be worth it. And whether it be the people I get to meet, the changes I get to experience with other people, the difference I can make on other people, I can see what you're sharing, and that makes sense. Go ahead.
You're hitting the nail on the head. Absolutely. You said it better than I did. And so, having the confidence and realizing, and I say that with all of our new members that come on in, I said, listen, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And that's exactly what I say to people, that, man, this is the best thing that I've ever done. It really is. And not only because we're helping, but because of the flexibility and the freedom and being able to, really design your lifestyle based upon what you want to do.
Well, one thing I remember is I was there at ProfitCon, and if you'll recall, we were in the hallway of the museum, and you and Mike and some others were up on this walkway, and you were speaking of basically celebrating what you had accomplished so far, and you raised a toast to everyone. Do you recall that?
I do. Do
you remember the feeling that you had when you were up there looking out over that sea of people out in the hallway?
Well, what really put the smile on my face was the good work that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's our members. Our members are the ones that are really changing the world. We're just helping them with the tools. They're the ones that are going out, speaking to their customers. They're the ones that are implementing it in their customers' businesses. They're the ones that are really, really making the true difference out there. So I was teary-eyed when I looked at how many there were compared to several years ago. And each new Profit First professional that joins, they do so much good in the world out there. It's unbelievable.
I have to say the same for the experiences I've had at Universal is when you recognize that really what we're doing is empowering accounting professionals to have successful firms. It's their extended success to their clients that really is elevating to us, because like you, it's the difference that the world is having because of that ripple effect, right? It's you've impacted them, empowered them as a profit first professional. They've taken this then to their clientele, and it's that ripple effect that's extending beyond you to so many other people. It's very much that pay it forward philosophy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's not about, and one of the things that we say to our members, we're not asking our members to sell Profit First, the methodology. We're not asking them to sell membership. We're not asking them to sell books. What we're doing is we're teaching them on how to share the value and the benefits of working with them and utilizing this wonderful tool. So, you know, we teach how to introduce it without even mentioning the book. So a lot of people think out there, you asked me earlier on about a misconception. Another one is that, you know, we just want them to sell membership. It's not the case at all. I don't care if anybody mentions the word Profit First, if they're implementing the methodology in their business and their customers' businesses, I don't care what they call it.
Yeah. Good. I like hearing that. So here's a good little thing that I'd like to find out is, do you have a quote or a mantra that you've used or referred back to as you've been running your business, growing your business? Is there something that's kind of a foundation, a principle that you kind of lean on as you're doing all this?
Yep, absolutely. And it's something that was ingrained in my mind as a young kid. And basically, I say it all the time. Do what you say you're going to do by when you say you're going to do it. That simple. When I teach 8th graders, high school, college kids, the number one way, in my opinion, to be successful in anything you do is to literally do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Now, add it, what you do, just do it 1% more better than what is expected, and you'll be a rock star.
I love it. Your word is your bond. That is very, very true, and sometimes much overlooked today. So let's look at Profit First. And as we look at it, obviously this podcast is for individuals that are building their accounting firm, building the premier accounting firm in their area. And with that in mind, how does Profit First enhance the marketing and sales that they're doing to acquire and bring on new clientele? What advice would you have to them as they're looking at Profit First as helping them bring on and grow their firm?
Yeah, Profit First is the number one brand in profitability. There alone. You have a guy like Mike that is driving business owners to seek out certified firms. So we help our members stand out in the crowd by providing them with content for their website, a Credly badge to validate that they are one of the select few. Marketing, we in essence can weave elements of Profit First into any marketing activity that they have. And so we make it easy for our members to announce that they're certified Profit First. We have content for their websites, their LinkedIn, Twitter, anything that they're looking to market their services. They're authorized to use as much as our content or as little of it as they want. But it really does help them stand out in a crowd, because when somebody sees a certification for QuickBooks or Xero, and that's great. That means you're good at the software. However, when the entrepreneur sees that you're a certified Profit First professional, that's where the money is. They know that you have been trained and certified in this specific methodology to help them achieve.
Very good. I mean, that's a powerful credential to have that complements, obviously, the services you're already providing. So I love how you described that. So here's a question for you as a business owner. when you're looking at the accounting information, how does that actually help you run your business?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. I'm a big believer in getting a cash report to understand, the ebbs and flows, but the financials are equally as important to see what's going on, what some of the trends are, and be able to utilize that. So, while this is cash flow, accounting is extremely important to the success of the company, making sure that, everything is buttoned up, making sure that it's balanced, making sure that, the receivables are in place. So the accountant is really in the best position to implement this and, make sure that the company, is getting their money and paying their bills.
So is there a key number that you look at or watch on a regular basis as the owner, the co-founder of Profit First?
Oh,
What number
sorry.
are you looking at in your business?
Yeah. So KPIs we're talking about. What do I look at to determine the health of my company? Well, one of the things is we look at retention. Okay. That's our number one goal is to help our members really get this program and stick with it. So of course there's the number of members that we have internationally, globally here in the United States, then the retention. Okay. As well as, what is our profitability? Right. And what are we looking to do in the future? And so the KPIs might be a little bit different, but number one, how many members we have. Two, what is the retention of our members? Three, how can we improve on all of that?
Very good. Very good. So real quickly, just a segue here, I'd like to again thank our sponsors for actually making this possible. So again, if you're not familiar with Universal Accounting Center, it's a post-secondary school helping accounting professionals actually elevate their careers and literally get the training, certifications, coaching, and support that they need to excel in their career or as well start and build successful accounting firms. The other is Keller Accounting. Keller Accounting is actually a program designed also for the non-accountant to help business owners actually learn very quickly what it is they need to be paying attention to in the accounting cycle, just so that they're comfortable using the accounting information they're receiving to make more informed business decisions. And then obviously Profit First today here with Ron. Ron with Profit First sponsoring the podcast, offering basically entrepreneurs that freedom that they're needing away from that entrepreneurial poverty that they're experiencing and finding the profit and making profit be first in their priorities. So the next thing I want to do here, Ron, is I'm going to ask you a little bit more personal questions. I want to know what you're passionate about. Do you have any hobbies?
I do. I have a couple of hobbies. I like to collect things, history, as well as sports memorabilia, but also I'm a car guy. Love classic cars. Watch those shows all day long.
Well, then you and Mike must have a lot in common. Mike Scalise.
Yes, Mike Scalise. Yes, the Hawaiian lumberjack. Mike is one of our guides that is instrumental in helping our members with the right foundation of Profit First. Yeah, he's a huge car guy as well. Bigger car guy than I am, actually.
Which is good. Yeah, I saw his Trans Am a few years ago. That was quite impressive.
He was actually just on a concourse. He has an older BMW as well that is really, really something. He's living it. He loves this stuff.
His pictures of the car show were quite impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was amazing. So here's another question for you. Share with me something that many don't know about you.
Great. So then everybody's going to know if I say that.
I know. That's got to be interesting, right?
I'm a borderline hoarder. I don't know what it is. Borderline.
And I'm going to guess that your wife is the one that keeps you from crossing over that line.
No, she pulls me back from crossing the line and allows me to hoard in my garage. That's about it.
You've been given a corner, so there you go.
I have.
So I'm going to share one that I actually bring up all the time. You're right. After saying it on the podcast, I'm sure everyone's going to know. But this is one that whether it's in a meeting or an introduction, they'll always say, tell us something that nobody else knows. And I'll always say the best biscuits and gravy I've ever had were in prison. And everyone it'll get everybody's attention. What it was is I actually worked at Utah Correctional Industries, and I was working with the inmates, giving them skills for when they left, it would curb the recidivism, and they wouldn't return back to prison because they had a career they could pursue. And so I would go into the prison institution, do some training. I worked out there for over a year going through this, got an award out there working with the inmates. Amazing experience. I've got phenomenal stories from that experience. experience. But yes, when I'm asked, tell me something not everybody knows, I'll say the best biscuits and gravies I ever had were in prison. And
That's
yeah,
fun.
it'll get the eyebrows risen.
So
So that's fun.
I've got something else that you probably didn't know that is kind of in line with what you were doing. Back in the day,
All right.
I was an investigator for the Public Defender Service of Washington, D.C., investigating
my
felony
goodness.
ones. Yeah, murder, rapes, arson. So, been in the D.C. jail, been in a lot of hairy situations, and man, if there's anything that we can do to help the inmates be positioned to run their own businesses, to be successful, we've got to do it because the recidivism rate is way too high to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to somehow bolster their confidence and their self-esteem. So I agree with that. Here's a good one for you. What goal do you personally have for the coming year? What goal do you have that you're working towards that you'd like to accomplish? Anything?
Personally, I set out the goal this year to lose 25 pounds. I'm down to, I've lost about 18, I'll say. So I'm on track for doing that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been, it's tough. And, one of the things is just to schedule it, make it happen, and just do it.
I'm curious. Have you found a secret that's working for you?
Yes. I paid a personal trainer a lot of money. That way I always go to the gym and I never not go because if I cancel, I still have to pay.
Yep. I get that. I've played that same game. You put dollars into the mix and I rise to the occasion. So that's quite all right.
Well, it's one of those things, if I've joined a gym for $29 a month and maybe I go, maybe I don't, it's $29, no big deal. But if I'm paying a premium for somebody to come to my house early in the morning and work me out, and if I decide not to go, man, it's still going to cost me an arm and a leg. So, those that pay a premium for products and services tend to treat it better. They want to make it work.
100%
and so
agree.
I want to make this thing work, and it is working.
Good.
And I don't think if I was paying, the cheapest for the cheapest, trainer out there, I don't think I would be as committed as I am to making this work.
Well said. I agree. 100% agree. It's kind of putting your money where your mouth is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good. Yeah. All right. So here's another one. This is something that I think you'll have an opinion on. And it's basically when people talk about having balance in their life, I think there's a misconception about it. And so I was just kind of curious, do you have an opinion when someone says they're striving to have balance in their life? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. And, throughout my life, balance has changed. And when I was working with in a corporation, I was really looking for that work-life balance, quote unquote. But when I started this, I was realizing that it's just one life and that, we can control that balance. We can dictate what that balance is. So when I realized that it's up to me, and I had the power to have that balance, that was the light switch that went on. So knowing that, I've designed my life where, I take my daughter to school, I pick her up, I do the homework. It's very tough to get a hold of me in the morning and after 5 o'clock. That's the balance. That's what I was looking for. And also, I'm in charge of turning off my phone. I can turn my phone off anytime I want. So can our listeners. Sometimes you might have to go home, shut it off.
I love it. That is very good advice, and I appreciate it. How about this? What challenge in business did you face? How did you overcome it? And what did you learn from it?
Yeah. So one of the very, very first profit first speeches I did was to score the mentors. And the room was probably about 25 people in there. And Profit First was so new. And I went in there and I gave a speech and I started off with, hey guys, and this was a room of CFOs and accountants because they knew what I was going to be talking about a little bit. I said, Gap is crap. That's what I opened up with. And, oh my God. That was the worst thing ever. So my advice is really know your audience. Know your audience before you say something. Don't be cutesy wootsy, right? Just speak from the heart, share, and you're going to be all right. And so, yeah, that was
Yeah, my takeaway from that is I'm not going to say Gap is crap. I get that.
Right.
I will not make that same mistake.
No. So know your audience. Know your audience. It really what it is. And same thing with accounting and how I relate to that. When I'm talking to or coaching one of our members about the implementation of Profit First within a business that's say 25 million versus one that's 100,000. Well, you need to know the lingo. You need to talk about, and the larger the business, how you're going to increase shareholder equity or shareholder earnings, right? Mm-hmm. On the lower ones, you have to help them with oxygen. Right. And so really knowing the different levels as well as the stages of the business maturation. If somebody is, on their way out, well, let's talk about how to create a greater EBITDA. Okay. Somebody that is just starting, let's talk about a rock solid financial that'll continue and to help you be successful into the future.
I love those 3 different points because they are 3 different experiences, 3 different needs.
Right. Yeah.
That is very good. All right. So here's something that I'd like to do is from our sponsors, we've got a few quick little offers that we're going to make mention of. When you go to the descriptions here of the podcast, you'll actually have the information you need to take advantage of these offers. But with Universal Accounting, we've got a phenomenal offer there that you can actually receive a free copy of the book In the Black. It's a book written for business owners to help you actually run a very successful business. And it complements very well Profit First. And so within the Black, I encourage accounting professionals to take this and see what they can do to apply 9 principles to make their businesses more profitable and literally become the premier accounting firm in the area. Color Accounting, we've got a great little offer there that I think you'll want to take advantage of to help you better communicate and retain your clients, offering them as business owners the opportunity to go through the Color Accounting course and as themselves actually learn what they need to understand and know about the accounting business model so that they can more effectively use the information you're providing them. And this definitely improves the communication you have with your clients. And then lastly, Ron, you have a special offer here regarding Profit First.
Yes, I do. I have 10 Profit First books earmarked for the 10 first listeners to email me at ron.s@profitfirstprofessionals.com. Put in the subject, I want my Profit First book, and I'll go ahead and mail it out to you.
I love it. I love it. It's a great read. You're going to want to go through this, and it's definitely applicable to you and your own business and could be a very valuable service that you could be providing to your clientele. So that is wonderful. And thank you for making that possible, Ron.
Sure. No, thank you for having me as a guest, Roger.
You're welcome. So I've got some parting questions here, some quick one little answer type things that we're going to do, and I just want to have fun with it.
Okay.
What's your favorite word? What do you always like to use?
Oh, what favorite word? I don't know. A favorite word.
Give me your most unfavorite one then. What word do you hate? It annoys you when someone uses it.
Can't. The word can't.
Can't. Oh, yeah. I take can out of your vocabulary unless it's a guy saying he wants to have a baby. You're right.
Right. Yes, you can. You can do that.
How about this? Do you have a pet peeve?
Yes. Showing up.
What's a pet?
Showing up late or anything. My mother must have done a number on me as a kid because, if I'm 5 minutes early, I'm on time. If I'm right on time, I'm late. And, people are chronically late, and that's okay. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just doesn't mean that it's going to be a very difficult working relationship between me and them.
Yeah. How about this? What's your go-to food? And especially being on a diet now, I want to know what this one is.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah. And in New Jersey, we got lots of great pizza, a lot of great Italian food. We got some great Mexican food too, by the way.
Yeah. How about, what are you most thankful for?
My family. I have lovely wife, lovely daughter. Mom and dad are still around. Great younger brother and friends.
Family and friends. I couldn't agree more. Very well said. Last one. If you had a superpower, which one would you like to have?
Be invisible.
Why?
I'd like to be invisible. Well, because that way there's a lot of famous people out there, historians and political people and politicians, you name it. I would love to be a fly on the wall. I would love to be invisible and just listen to some of the conversations that, whether it's, a famous musician, whether it's Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin, I think it would be fascinating to be invisible, but to really hear the candidness of what they're saying that we don't get to.
I like that. I completely understand as well. That would be a phenomenal experience, being able to kind of listen in or eavesdrop and hear some things that are just spoken behind the scenes. Well said. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, do you have any parting thoughts that you'd like to share? Anything last that you'd like to impart to these people that are accounting professionals striving to have the premier accounting business?
Right. Try profit first. Try it. You have nothing to lose. It doesn't take any extra effort to open up one or two bank accounts, title those bank accounts for either a pain or a want, and start allocating a small percentage in there. It's like the 401k. Why is that the number one savings vehicle in America? Well, we take it off the top, we put it aside, and there's penalties for getting it. That's profit first. So take the first step, open up a couple of bank accounts and start allocating 1% in there and watch it grow.
I like your analogy of the 401k. It's automatic. It's a decision. It's done and it happens. So well described there. So Ron, thank you very, very, very much for being here. You're a good friend. I love speaking with you. I can honestly say that I always look forward to running into you at the conferences and such. It's always a pleasure. Regarding this podcast, just as a quick summary, I think Ron's done a phenomenal job building a company to empower business owners to work on what matters oftentimes the most, that profitability that sometimes is all too elusive, and really eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. One of the things that I really felt from this podcast is we got to know Ron a little bit better. He shared some personal things. I liked getting some of that backdrop. It was like we were invisible and we got to kind of peer into your mind and learn some new things. That was fun. Regarding the business, obviously Profit First is a program designed for individuals that want to offer more services, more value-added services to their clientele, becoming the premier accounting firms in their area, taking the accounting business model that they're currently offering and adding to it so that their clients can in fact focus on things that matter most and really make a priority of profit within their organizations. Regardless the size of the clientele, this is a great program to implement with any of your clients and really get you paid what you're worth as not just an accounting professional, but also now a trusted strategic advisor. One of the things that I would encourage you to do is take advantage of Ron's offer. As he said, email him directly. That information will be in the description, and get your free copy. Perhaps you'll be one of the first 10 to do so. And never second guess yourself. You'll never know if you're that 9th or 11th person. So definitely shoot the email over to him. And lastly, take a chance, listen to another podcast of ours, and invest some time in building your business to become the premier accounting firm in your area. And subscribe to our episodes here, because if it's about accounting, it is universal. In fact, if anything, accounting success is universal. So everyone, thank you very much. And Ron, thank you again for being on the show today.
You're welcome. Love what you guys are doing as well. Thanks, Roger.
You bet. Bye-bye.